Welcome back. So today we have the average American versus the average Brit, is what it said, infographics. So I am curious to see some of the differences. We saw the houses the other day. That was a really cool video. Quite a few things on there I had no idea about. So I'm really curious to see how this one plays out. Let's have a watch.
When we talk about the UK, we are referring to the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, which is a sovereign state consisting of 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
I did a 23andMe test. I'm Irish. Quite a bit Irish, actually. More than I thought. It was very cool.
In terms of ancestral relations, according to a Census Bureau American Community Survey, nearly 27 million people identified as being part English, over 5.5 million said Scottish, about 5 million said Scotch-Irish, and nearly 2 million said Welsh. Although Irish and German Americans make up larger portions of the US public, it's thought there are a lot more Americans that have Brit blood flowing through their veins but no longer consider themselves being anything other than a full-blooded American.
Oh, of course. Like I said on that 23andMe, I'm very British as well. Of course. It makes sense. But, no, it would be very, very cool to go over there and visit. That would be awesome. I wonder how hard it is to get a passport.
The average Brit stands just a fraction taller than the average American, with the BBC lately reporting that the average man in the UK is now 5 feet 10 inches and the average woman is 5 feet 5 inches. American men average 5 feet 9.5 inches and American women 5 feet 3.5 inches.
Okay. Well, I am shorter than both. But that's okay.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's latest report, the average American male is now 195.7 pounds and the average woman is 168.5 pounds. The average British man is 186.2 pounds and the average woman is 154 pounds. Does the fact both countries are perhaps on the heavy side influence life expectancy? American men on average will live to 77.11 years and American women 81.94. Citizens of the United Kingdom can expect to clock out at a similar age on average, with male life expectancy standing at 79.1 and female life expectancy 82.8.
So those are some pretty good stats. Those are not bad at all. 77 is what I could go for, and I think this video was a few years ago, so, because it is 2025, and they were talking about that, so I bet you it's even higher now for both countries.
We'll take a look at money matters. In terms of industry, both nations are considered champions of the world, but according to the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe, the USA citizen grosses a higher salary than the average UK person. The average gross salary in the USA was the 5th highest in the world at $4,893 per month, while the UK sat in 14th place on the list with an average of $3,461 per month.
Okay, that's cool. The average. Okay, that's also probably a couple. I do believe they said a couple. So, I'm not a couple. But not bad.
In terms of cost of living, Americans might need the few extra dollars, with one report putting the USA in 18th place in the world on a cost of living index and the UK in 29th place.
You ain't lying on that. You are not lying. And this, like I said, it's a few years ago. Now it's up there. It's up there. We'll have to watch a more updated one later. But nice. This is, yeah.
Also note that cost of living and wages can change dramatically from city to city. If we take a look at the economics Big Mac Index, we find that the cost of a Big Mac in the US is $5.06, while the Brits only pay $3.73.
Yeah, this was definitely back in the good old days, because that Big Mac is now, I haven't had McDonald's in forever, but I think it's like $7, $8, maybe 9, maybe, I don't know. But it's definitely more than $5. $5 getting you nothing.
At the same time, the index shows someone in London has to work on average 1 minute longer than someone in New York to buy the same burger. At the high end of the earnings scale, the US is home to the richest man on the planet, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, whose fortune amounts to around $87 billion.
He was the richest man in America. Not anymore, but he was. He's still pretty rich, though.
This person in the UK is actually listed as 2 brothers who are part of the Hinduja family. Their net worth is around $16.9 billion, according to Forbes. In total, there are 134 billionaires based in the UK, according to the Sunday Times, while the USA has the most billionaires in the world.
That's a lot of people with a lot of money. Wow. Billionaire. It's crazy. Good for them.
What do Americans and Brits get for all their hard work? Well, the Brits don't work as hard, according to one study that divided the total number of hours actually worked by the average number of people in employment per year. The USA was 16th on the list at 34.40 hours per week, and the UK was 24th on the list at 32.25 hours per week. The Brits also get more time off, with workers by law given 5.6 weeks of paid vacation time per year. In the US, there is no such law.
I mean, we have PTO, but wow, 5.5 weeks off? That's over a month off. That's really good. And by law, yeah, and these 34 hours, you're working 40. Where did you subtract a day? Why did they subtract a day? That's ridiculous. Wow, I said none. No paid vacation over here, but we do have some, yes. Granted, I don't know that it's a law. But wow, 5.6 weeks? That must be so nice. I'm taking all summer off. Maybe all fall. Who knows?
Off is an agreement made between the employer and the employee. The average paid days off in the US is said to be about 10 days, with that number increasing with the number of years in a certain job. The UK has less public holidays though, at 8 days, with the US enjoying 10.
Okay, so 10 days is what they said, PTO over here. So that's a little over a week, and they get a little over a month. Yeah, we have 2 more holidays. But come on now. That vacation time alone is insane. That must be nice.
Americans may work harder, but they also seem to be getting more for their buck. While the British public have been dealing with drastically increasing property prices, they also live in very small abodes. Studies have found that Britain's houses on average are some of the smallest in Europe at around 818 square feet. American citizens on average can enjoy much larger living areas, with the average house size being around.
Okay, that's right. I've heard that. I also heard there's no AC over in the UK, I believe, something along those lines. Is that true? If that's true, let me know down in the comments. What do you do during the summer? We'll have to watch a video on that. Okay, so 815 square feet of a house. My apartment is a little under that, but I also have a 1-bedroom apartment, not a house. So yeah, that looks about right.
The US also has more in terms of vehicle ownership. America is third on the list of number of vehicles owned per 1,000 people at 797, excluding motorcycles and anything else on 2 wheels. The UK lies in 34th place on the same list with 519 vehicles per 1,000 people. Rising property prices, expensive cars, what does this mean in terms of borrowing money? Household debt statistics, which is measured by all money owed to financial institutions, whether it be for a house or a BMW, has both the UK and the US in the top 10 countries of the world. For 2016, the UK was in 6th place on the household debt list, and the US not far behind in 7th place. UK citizens looking for a higher education and a good start in life might also have to take on a lot of debt before they actually embark on a career. While much of Europe enjoys a free ride or low-cost higher education, England is now said to be the most expensive place in the world to get a college degree. The latest reports state UK nationals attending an English university can expect annual tuition to be $11,715 compared to the $9,410 Americans pay on average.
They're both really expensive. Both of those are insanely expensive for whatever reason. There's a reason I didn't go to college. That's crazy.
On average, the class of 2016 in the USA owed around $37,172 in loans, while students graduating from a university in England could expect to owe as much as something in the region of $40,000 to $55,000. Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland all have cheaper university tuition fees, or no tuition fee for Scottish people studying in Scotland. Students may still have to borrow to study, though, with a recent report by the Student Loans Company stating the average student debt in Northern Ireland and Scotland was around $26,000 and $15,000 respectively.
So not near as bad over in Ireland. 26,000, maybe 15,000. That's not bad. Especially for a great career, if you will. If you're able to get that position or whatever it is that you want, whatever you went to school for, well worth it.
Their tuition fees paid for by the Welsh government, but students still rack up debts on average of around $24,000. UK citizens may take some comfort in matters of healthcare, with most costs covered by Britain's national health.
Yeah, that's nice. Our healthcare is... What healthcare? It's crazy. So expensive over here. It's crazy expensive over here. That's wild to me.
Americans are not so fortunate, with an article in The Atlantic this year stating that more than a quarter of Americans said that someone in their household was struggling to pay off crushing medical debts.
That was a good video. Okay. very interesting to see the differences between the two. Man, I would love the free healthcare. It's pretty good over there, isn't it? I imagine that healthcare is pretty good. It's free, but must be great. Hey, UK is not sounding so bad in these videos. More PTO, free healthcare. I might have to go visit. But until next time, thank y'all for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.